Are you ready? I want you to hear this. God is about to send something huge into your life. Right now, you may not see it, but don't let that fool you. You've been praying, you've been believing, and God has been at work in the background. He's preparing you for something greater than you could ever imagine. And when it comes, you will know that it was all Him. So get ready. The breakthrough is on its way, and you are closer than ever to the blessing that's been waiting for you. God is preparing something big for you. It's easy to overlook this truth when you're facing challenges or waiting for something to happen in your life. You might feel as though nothing is changing, or perhaps you wonder if your prayers are even being heard. But what you don't see is that behind the scenes, God is working tirelessly on your behalf, aligning everything for the perfect moment. His plan for you is far greater than what you can imagine, and in His timing, He will reveal it. It's often difficult to trust in the unseen. We want immediate results and clear signs, but God's preparation is not something that happens overnight. Sometimes He takes His time because He wants to ensure that you're fully ready to receive what He has in store for you. You may be going through seasons of struggle, of waiting, of testing, but don't let those moments discourage you. They are part of the process of shaping you into the person who can handle the blessing that is coming. Just as a seed must be buried deep in the soil, watered and nurtured before it can grow into something strong, so must your faith and character be strengthened before you can receive what God is preparing for you. Trust that God is not only working on your circumstances, but also on your heart. He is refining you, purifying your desires, and shaping your mindset so that when the big thing arrives, you are ready to handle it with gratitude, wisdom, and humility. Sometimes we think that God is taking too long, or we question why things aren't happening according to our timeline. But remember, His timing is perfect, and He sees the bigger picture. He understands what's at stake, and He's making sure that everything falls into place at just the right moment. In the waiting, He is building your endurance. He is strengthening your ability to stand firm in your faith, to keep trusting even when it feels like nothing is happening. But let me tell you this, while you're waiting, God is working. You may not see it, but He is orchestrating every detail of your life. The job you've been hoping for, the relationship you've been praying about, the breakthrough you've been longing for, it's all part of a larger plan that God is carefully designing. God's preparation often involves teaching us patience, teaching us how to persevere through tough times, and showing us that His plan is always better than our own. He knows exactly what you need, and He knows when you're ready to receive it. Sometimes the biggest blessings come after the longest seasons of waiting, but those seasons are not wasted. They are vital in preparing you to step into the fullness of what God has in store for you. So even if you can't see the result just yet, know that God is not done. He is preparing something big, something that will blow your mind, and it's coming. Stay faithful, stay focused, and keep trusting in His timing. Your breakthrough is just around the corner. Your faith is being tested, but it's not in vain. In every season of your life, especially during moments of trial, it can feel as though God is distant or that your efforts aren't producing the results you desire. But let me remind you that this time of testing is not punishment. It is part of God's process to strengthen your character, deepen your trust, and mold you into the person He created you to be. The challenges you face are not there to break you, but to build you up. It's easy to think that when life gets hard, we must be doing something wrong. You may ask, why is this happening to me? Or what did I do to deserve this? But the truth is that testing is an integral part of your spiritual growth. Just as gold is purified by fire, your faith is refined and strengthened through hardship. These moments of struggle are where your trust in God grows deeper and your reliance on His strength becomes more evident. Without the testing, there would be no testimony. Without the trial, there would be no triumph. God's tests are not random or pointless. They are purposeful. Every trial is an opportunity to lean on God more fully, to rely on His strength rather than your own, and to see His faithfulness in new ways. You may not see the reason behind your challenges in the moment, but rest assured that God is using them to prepare you for something greater. He is developing qualities in you that will be vital for the calling He has on your life. Don't give up just because the road is tough. God is using this time to mold you into someone who is strong, resilient, and fully equipped for the blessings that are ahead. Your faith is being tested, yes, but it is also being refined. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity for your character to grow, your trust to increase, and your perspective to shift. You are not going through this for nothing. God is working in you, even in the most difficult times. And when you come out on the other side, you will be stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what lies ahead. So don't allow the testing to discourage you. Instead, see it as a sign that God is working in your life in ways you can't fully understand yet. Keep going, knowing that your faith is being refined and that God is preparing you for something bigger than you can imagine. The strength you gain today will be the foundation for the breakthrough that's coming tomorrow. Stay faithful, because God's testing is never in vain, and neither is your perseverance. The timing of God's blessings is always perfect. In a world where instant gratification is often expected, it can be hard to understand why things don't happen on our timeline. We pray, we hope, we wait, and sometimes we feel as though nothing is moving forward. But here's the truth. God's timing is never wrong. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, He is orchestrating everything in perfect order. His timing is not ours, and His plans for us are always far greater than what we can imagine. We often think that the moment we ask for something, it should come immediately. But God knows exactly when we're ready to receive what He has for us. Sometimes He holds back blessings because He's working on our hearts or developing our character. He might be preparing us for what's ahead or teaching us patience, trust, and perseverance. The waiting is never wasted. In fact, it is often in the waiting that we grow the most. It's in those moments that God is refining us, making us stronger, and aligning us with His perfect will. God's timing is also about the bigger picture. We might think we know what we want and when we want it, but He sees the entire map of our lives. He knows the right timing for everything. He knows the people we need to meet, the opportunities that need to line up, and the lessons we need to learn before we can fully step into the blessings He has planned. Sometimes the delay is not a denial, but an opportunity to grow in faith and trust. When the time is right, everything will fall into place. God doesn't rush, and neither should we. His blessings are worth the wait, and when they come, they will be in perfect alignment with His will for our lives. Trust that He knows the best time for everything, and rest in the assurance that His timing will always be worth it. What's coming is far greater than anything you could rush or force. Wait for His perfect timing. It will be more than worth it. Keep trusting, even when you don't see immediate results. It's easy to believe when everything is going well, when things are falling into place and your prayers seem to be answered. But what about when it feels like nothing is happening? What about when it seems like all your efforts are in vain and your breakthrough is nowhere in sight? That's when faith truly matters. Trusting in God during the waiting seasons is one of the most powerful acts of faith you can demonstrate. It's easy to trust when things are visible, when progress is tangible, but trusting when nothing seems to be changing, when you feel stuck or uncertain, that's where your faith can truly grow. God isn't absent just because you don't see immediate results. In fact, He is working behind the scenes in ways you can't comprehend. Just because things don't happen the way you expect or on your timeline doesn't mean that God isn't at work. There's always purpose in the waiting. Your trust during this time is building endurance in your spirit. It's teaching you to rely on God's timing and wisdom rather than on your own understanding. While you might not see the results right away, trust that God is preparing everything for you, whether it's your heart, your circumstances, or the right people. You might not see the full picture yet, but God does. And he's making sure everything aligns perfectly before he releases his blessings into your life. During the moments of doubt, remember this: God has never failed you, and he never will. The waiting doesn't mean God has forgotten about you. It means he's working things out in a way that's best for you. So keep trusting. Even when you don't see immediate results, know that God is always at work, shaping your future and preparing you for the amazing things he has in store. Sometimes the biggest blessings come after the longest seasons of waiting, but those seasons are not wasted. Waiting can feel like a time of uncertainty, frustration, or even discouragement, but in reality, it is one of the most important periods of your journey. While it might seem like nothing is happening on the surface, God is doing something deep within you. The waiting season is never a wasted one, because it is during this time that he is refining you, teaching you patience, and preparing you for the blessing that is coming. Just like a farmer waits for the right season to harvest the crops, so too does God wait for the perfect time to release his blessings. If everything happened instantly, we would miss out on the deeper lessons he has for us. The seasons of waiting teach us endurance. They help us build a stronger foundation in our faith, and they prepare us to steward the blessings God will eventually bring. When the right moment comes, you will look back and realize that everything you experienced, even the hard times, was necessary for what you are about to receive. The Bible is full of stories of people who waited for God's promises to be fulfilled, and many of them faced long periods of uncertainty before they saw the breakthrough. But when the blessing came, it was beyond anything they could have imagined. Your breakthrough is coming, and when it does, you'll understand why the wait was necessary. You'll see that God was working behind the scenes, preparing not just the blessing, but your heart to receive it. So even when it feels like you've been waiting forever, remember that the blessing is worth the wait. The best things in life often take time to cultivate and grow. Trust that the season you are in is laying the foundation for something greater. Your faith, your character, and your readiness are being built in the waiting. Keep holding on, because the breakthrough that comes at the end of this season will make it all worth it.